Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another EVE Online video. As you can see, we are back out in the ice fields. In fact, if you haven't seen my last video, I was talking about my solo setup and, how I go about my daily life and what that actually looks like. So, in that, I also talked about my priorities list and my main priority being ice belts, and that's why we're here. The reset has happened, and as you can see down the bottom left hand side of the screen, it is 25 to 12 in the morning. Okay, so I also talked about in the last one that we were going to be talking about why I left my last corporation, the corporation that I absolutely loved. And if you are a keen eye, you would notice that there is another person in the fleet that is my brother. So he has joined us out on the ice field. So we've just got the orca out, we're boosting away, we're mining to our heart's content. There's not, if I do like a wee quick zoom around here, there's not an awful lot of ice here left. There was a good chunk of mining done just before reset, so obviously there's not an awful lot left. But that is no problem whatsoever, because I almost broke my chair. Because we are just going to be sitting here and we're going to be talking. This is this type of video you're not going to need to focus on the screen, so if you're doing other things you can just listen along with the story if you want. Because basically all I'm going to be doing is flicking back and forward between accounts just to transfer stuff from the retriever into the fleet hangar, and then the fleet hangar back into the mining hold, and then at some stage we will do some compressing. More than likely it'll be a lot sooner, because my brother will need the compressor on, so he doesn't need to leave, and he will chuck out some cans. We will turn on the compressor, he'll compress them, then start filling up his cans, and then he'll go about his stuff anyway. So with that being said, we're going to talk about why I left my last corporation, or why I became like a solo nomad, if you want to call it that. I know kind of like the term nomad, you're just traveling around, and I kind of stay in the same few systems and in some wormholes here and there, but I would consider myself a nomad, just because I'm not tied down to one place. I can go anywhere that I want. I'm not a part of a corporation that has rules and regulations or anything like that. I have my own corporation, as you can probably see on the screen, with the tag of BIG, which is Black Ice Interplanetary Group. Basically, it was just something that I done again to stop the spam invites. So we'll talk about the story. So when I first started this game, it was kind of on a whim, and I seen an ad for it because I was actually watching YouTube videos in between games of Rainbow Six Siege. So I was actually playing Rainbow Six Siege, and I was on YouTube watching videos in between games, and one of the ads that come up was for EVE Online. Now, I love space, and I also it's one of my favorite TV shows. In fact, my favorite TV show is a TV show called The Expanse. I have finished the TV series, I've finished the books, well, I've caught up on all the books, so I'm just waiting on the next book coming out. And a lot of the ship names that I have actually come from that TV show. So what I'll actually do is I'll pop up my personal assets. So Big Rig is not, Marasmus is, the Nauvoo is, Palladium is not, the Scopuli is, Stone Cold obviously is not, Behemoth is, and I thought I had some more. Mbot, the Gila, is actually from a book series by Brandon Sanderson, the Starlight series. So I get a lot of my names from sci-fi stuff. So finding that ad, it was just kind of fitting. So I was like, what, I'll download it. I downloaded it, and then didn't play it that night. The next day that did though, I jumped in blind, didn't look at any guides, didn't look at any reviews, didn't watch any gameplay. It was the ad and the ad only. So I jumped in, and I didn't really like it to start with, because you couldn't fly your ship. It was point and click, and then your ship moved that way and stuff like that. So I wasn't really a big fan. But I gave it the chance, and I've done the tutorial, and I'm not too sure if the tutorial is the same as it was back then, which was, 2 years and 1 month ago, so 25 months ago. I'm not too sure if the tutorial has changed since then. Because anytime I create a new character, I just skip the tutorial because I don't need the tutorial, the tutorial anymore. Don't know why I started fucking stuttering there, but yeah, done the tutorial, and once it was done, had no clue what to do, no clue what you could do in the game, but even at that, no clue what I wanted my game to look like. So I kind of done a few things here and there, and then I fell into mining in Perimeter, which is a system adjacent to JITA, and I became very locked in on that system because it had pretty much everything that I needed. It had asteroid belts, it had a station that I could dock up at, but it also had a station that could compress your ore, and I was like, this is amazing. And it's very close to JITA, so I could sell my stuff, which back then I was just selling to buy orders. I wasn't actually putting it up on the market. I was selling it as quickly as I could, and I was doing that for a while, and then I upgraded my setup slightly, and I got a transport ship so that I could kind of let it bulk up a wee bit and then move it out at the end of a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is. And a month, 2 months passed, and I was sitting on what I believed to be a cushy little 300 million. I thought I was rich. I was like, right, I can do what I want in this game, because back then when I had that money, I was only using a Venture and a bog standard transport ship, which they are not expensive at all. So I was like, yeah, 300 million's a lot of money. But either way, I had a lot of money, well, what I thought was a lot of money, and I was like, I want even more. So one day I was working, and I started at 12 p.m. and I was getting ready that morning, and I posted a post to Reddit, and the post was basically, how can I get more money for my time? How can I maximize my ISK? And I got a few comments back from that. Basically, I went through that post, I went through my setup of what I was doing, how much money I made, etc, etc, and how could I get more, essentially. And while I was going to work, I was getting a few comments, but didn't check it. Get into work, done a few things, and then about an hour later I decided to go for a smoke. Went for a smoke, and then started checking the comments, and there was a few comments: keep doing what you're doing, or upgrade to a barge, or do this or do that. Nothing really, nothing really too insightful as to how I could make more ISK. And then the last comment that I got on it, that I had seen on my smoke break, was a big comment. A big comment. It commented quite a bit, and in that comment it was going through the ins and outs of mining, the ins and outs of selling, transporting, compressing, all of that stuff. And I was like, that's a really detailed comment. That this commenter obviously put quite some time into actually getting me the information. And then at the end of the comment, it ended with 2 paragraphs. Well, not 2 paragraphs, 2 sentences. One sentence just says, if you need anything, give me a message, which I thought was really nice. Fantastic. It means that I had something there that if I did have questions, I could just bounce it off this random person. And then the other part was, if you want, you can join our corporation. Now, taking into consideration, by this stage, that I'm like 2 months into the game, I had created my own corporation, not for the sake of trying to start up a corporation, but just to stop spam invites, because they were a pain in my arse back then. Again, I don't know if they're still that way, but that was my experience of it. And I had, seen some horror stories and heard some horror stories of, corporations taking advantage of new players, doing them out of ISK, in certain ways with, transactions, selling stuff to the corporation instead of the corporation taking 10% tax or whatever their tax was. They were effectively doubling it. Or, there's some other things that were thrown in there. So I was kind of hesitant, but I decided if I don't like it, I can just leave. So I was like, right, okay. I started talking to him about the corporation and what the requirements were. I was like, right, what do you require of me? What do you expect me to do in my daily life? And he was like, nothing. I was like, what? Nothing. Just play the game whatever way you want to play it. You will have people there, that will be talking, join in on the conversations, have fun with the people. And I was like, right, okay. And he's like, the thing is, if you're selling stuff, just do it through a corporation buyback system. We'll take 10% tax, and that's it. I was like, but you don't. What would the requirements be? Do I have to give a certain amount into the corporation? Do I have to do certain amounts, or do you have certain things that you expect me to do? And he was like, no. And I was like, already we're off to a good start here. So I was like, right, do you know what it is? By the time I get home, send me an invite. And he's like, right, okay. So later on that night I get home, and I was in Jada selling some of my stuff, selling my ore and stuff. And I have to point out before we go any further in the story that this corporation, like 95% of them are all Americans. I am not. So there was a bit of a time difference there, which will play a small part later on in the story. So just keep that in mind, that we are in different time zones. I'm like 5, 6 and sometimes up to 8 hours ahead of them, which can play a key part in this story. So I was in Jeddah and I was selling some ore and stuff, just gathering my money. And by this stage I hadn't went any further out than maybe 4, 5 jumps from Jeddah. And I'm being deadly serious when I say that. I had not left, that kind of like that wee bubble. I had not went any further out than maybe 4 or 5 jumps. So I was out one day and I stupidly set my home station to perimeter. Instead of doing it in the station, I done it remotely, which, if you don't know, the remote home station set has a cooldown timer. I think you can only do it like once a year or something like that. I accidentally done that, which means that whenever this invite does come through and they give me their location, I can't set that as my home station and then self-destruct and just teleport there, which is unfortunate. But we go on anyway. So I was in Jeddah selling stuff, invite came through, and I got an invite to the Discord. I was on the Discord, I was talking away to them, and the invite came through in the game. I accepted the invite, and I was greeted by a message instantly. You are at war with, I can't remember if it actually said the name of the thing, but basically what it says was I was at war with a certain alliance, and if any of that alliance was to attack me or anyone else within my alliance, Concord wouldn't do anything about it. I was like, oh, this isn't good. This is not good at all. It was scary, I'm not going to lie, it was scary. And I will be honest, I was a wee bit afraid to leave the station the first time. I had this image in my head that as soon as I left Jeddah, the trade hub in Jeddah, I was just going to get jumped, and that was not the case. It was not the case, but that was what was in my mind. So I was like, right, can someone send me the system so that I can, set it as destination and get there? I remember I hadn't been about 4 or 5 jumps from Jeddah. They sent me through the station, I set it as destination, 54 jumps. the shortest route was 54 jumps. The safest route was like 78 or 79. It was ridiculous. I was looking at it going, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? So, anyway, I was like, right, what am I supposed to do? I was like, this is going to be a nightmare, because getting my, my barge down there was going to be a disaster. Mining barges don't exactly align fast and don't travel fast, so, I was like, I'm in for a horrible ride here, because the last half of the journey is all through nullsack, and that was scary for me. That was really scary for me. 24. Okay, we see it there. Just gonna need the. I'm gonna turn this. Oh Jesus! I'm gonna just turn this compressor on for him. Because there's a lot of times that he does not pay attention, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, he is compress done. But yes, so I was like, right, this barge is going to be an absolute nightmare to get down here. I'm not looking forward to this. And they were like, just set your station remotely and self-destruct down. I was like, I can't. I stupidly done that, like a few weeks ago. And they were like, right, okay. I was like, I'm just going to have to travel down the barge. And next thing you know, they says that listen, do you know what to do? Sell all your stuff and we'll give you the ship when you get down here. They will provide you with everything that you need. And I was like, alright. Back to perimeter, got everything, brought it all to Jeddah, sold everything. I had nothing left but a pod and like 400 million maybe. And I was like, right, let's do this then. So I what did he say? Done, no worries. Right, I'm going to turn that off because there's no need for it on at the moment. So I get on my pod, set the destination, on my way, autopilot on. I know, don't give me shit. And I made my way there. While it was doing its autopilot, I went for a smoke, got a drink and stuff, and come back up. Half an hour, 35 minutes later, arrived in the system, warped to the station, got everything sorted, got my new ship, and they were like, right, best thing to do is mine ice. I had a load of skill points still left over, so I was like, right, just put up some ice skills, instantly trained it, and I was like, right, time to go mine and ice. And they were like, yep, let's go. So if you look on my screen right now, you can see that I have a thing for gas. I've got safe jumps, so that if I need to jump somewhere, I can jump somewhere. I've got planets for PI. That's a wee bit of fucking everything. But as you can see, I have this mining tab here. Okay, so I can just I can see what I'm mining and what's in range and stuff like that. I opened the mining tab and I was like, right, what? There's nothing here. They're like, no, we're at the ice belt now. And I was like, there is no ice belt in my overview, no mining, in the mining tab. And they were like, it doesn't work like that. I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, probe scanner, you will see that it'll come up. It was like smooth glacial mass. And I was like, alright, and I just warped it. So automatically that instantly was different, right? That was insanely different than what I was used to. I was like, right, okay. Warped out, started mining, just started hanging out with these guys, and they were all really nice. Met the CEO. We were sitting having a chat with the CEO of the corporation, the few higher ups and stuff like that there, and supervisors and stuff like that. Everyone was really nice, and they were kind of showing me the ropes of nullsec. They were showing me the ropes of ice mining and the best way to do it. And then there was one day that the CEO wasn't online, and they were like, listen, we're going to tell you something that don't repeat to the CEO because he does not like it. And I was like, what is it? And they're like, we're going to get your mining to just quadruple basically. And I was like, I'm all for it already. Hit me. What is it? And they're like, have you ever heard of jackcannon? And I went, no. And they were like, right, okay, basically you fill up your ore hold, you put it in the can, and the can holds a lot more than your ore hold does, so then you just keep filling up the can until it's full, and then you can do another can until it's full, and then you go back to station, you get something like a miasmus, you come out, you pick it all up, you bring it back, there you go. You're not going back to station every time your ore hold is full. And I was like, that's genius. Oh my god, that's amazing. And then I asked potentially the stupidest question that I think that I've ever asked in this game. I was like, where do I buy these cans? And they're like, well, I was like, where the cans that you put your ore into or your ice into, you know, for the miasmas to come pick it up, you know, where do I buy these cans? Are you fucking, oh, you dirty wee bitch. See you. Fucking leave my ice block alone. I was like, these cans, where do I get them? And they're like, you just jettison them out of your thing. And what are you talking about? They're like, go into your ore hole where the ice is, right click the ice and hit jettison, it automatically creates a can. And I was like, oh, so then I, you know, saving bookmarks for the locations for the cans, you know, getting the miasmos and doing that. My ISK was just going up and up and up and up and up and up. Fantastic. I was like, this is amazing, I love this. And they were like, just remember, the CEO does not like this. He's like, he will tell you off for it. Whether you actually listen to that, that's up to you, but because ultimately at the end it comes down to, if it all gets lost because you get jumped, it's your risk that's getting lost, not his. But he will just be like, don't do that. So I was like, right, okay, no worries. So I was on one morning and the CEO was up late one night, so, you know, I was obviously me being ahead of him in time, you know, it was morning for me, night for him. And I was just minding away, and he came out and he was like, jackcannon? And I was like, no. he's like, it's going to end badly. And I was like, yeah, that okay. And he's like, I prefer you not to do it, but it's yours, you know, so if you lose it, that's on you. And I was like, yeah, listen, I'll take that on board, no problem. Now he was in some big fancy ship, I think it was a Marauder or something that he was in, like it was a fucking big ship. And he come out and we were just sitting talking, you know, he was out at the ice fields, he wasn't doing any mining, like, because he was getting ready to go do some ratting and stuff, but we were just sitting talking away because this was like the first time me and him just sat down and had a proper conversation. Fucking lovely guy, like a really nice guy. And then he was like, right, go and do some ratting here before going off. I was like, enjoy. So he had left. 10 minutes later I get jumped. My mining barge is destroyed, and also my can was destroyed, so all of that ISK was just gone, and that would have been somewhat fine. But this corporation had it set up so that they had a bot, okay, and anytime one of the corporation's ships was destroyed, the bot in Discord alerted everyone and even linked the Z kill board for it. So I was sitting there and he was like, jackcannon, is it gone? And I went, yeah. And he's like, I told you. And I was like, fuck's sake, you know. But someone else was on, he was like, listen, you can have my mining barge, I'll contract it. And I went, no, honestly, it's fine, it was my mistake, you know, I'll make my way up to Jeddah, you know, it's early in the morning, it's pretty quiet, I'll make my way up to Jeddah, I'll get my own mining barge, I'll bring it back down. And he was like, no, seriously, I'll do it for you. Mining barge 4 is finishing off for me, then on to 5 in the examiners. Yeah, 5 takes ages too. Doing this with one hand. But I was like, listen, it's fine, Jedah's quiet, I'll go get it myself. because it was my fault that it was lost. Like, it was no one else's, it was mine. I wasn't paying attention in nullsec, and I got jumped. And he's like, no, seriously, I have just very recently upgraded to Exhumers. I've unlocked them, so take my barge. And I was like, how much do you want for it? And he's like, nothing, fucking wise up. I was like, right, okay, no worries. So took the barge back to the mining. And then over the course of the next, month or so, every so often we were doing mining ops, and they explained what a mining op was to me. We basically go out to an ice field and have an orca or two boosting and taking our stuff back to the system, or back to the station. And we were using a website. Now this is where I need you, if you've got this far, thank you, but I need you to help me. We used to use a website, okay? And that website kept track of all the mining that was done on an op. Okay? And it basically told people how much they were making, in real time. It was just constantly updating. What is that website? This has been bugging me for ages. What is that website? But anyway, if you know it, please leave it in the comments. Anyway, we were doing mining ops for ice. They were, I was making so much money. I was making hand over fist. It was fucking great. And then, it went on, and then the CEO was like, right, moon is in 2 days. And I was like, what? He was like, the moon is in 2 days. And I was like, what does that mean? And he was like, the moon pops in 2 days. And I was like, alright class, what does that mean? I don't know what that means, please tell me. And he was like, so when a moon pops, it's available to be mined. And moon ore is very, very valuable, which it is, especially nullsec moons, really valuable. And I was like, okay, fantastic, class, yes. Okay. And he was like, so it's coming up in 2 days, more people will be coming into the system, don't be hostile towards them, this, that and the other, we'll get an up going, we'll all make a lot of money, it'd be great. And I was like, right, first off, these people are coming into our system and you're telling me not to be hostile towards them? Why? And he was like, because they're part of the Alliance. And by this stage I had the only time I had ever heard the word Alliance in this game was whenever I was at war with that Alliance. But I didn't think anything of it. I didn't put two and two together. But I didn't question it. And I was like, what do you mean? So he gave me the quick rundown of a lot of corporations coming together, forming an alliance, and then that alliance owns systems and stuff like that. There they rent it out to corporations within their alliance, blah blah blah, this, that and the other. So other alliance members will be coming down. And he says to me, don't worry, they're blue. The fuck does that mean? And he basically then explained that friendlies are all come up as blue or green. Everyone that's going to be in the system that night will be blue or green. And I was like, alright, okay. So fast forward, moon pops, we do a mining up. Now the moon popped at like 9 o'clock at night for me, which was early in the day for them, but we all got together, formed fleets, warped to the moon, started doing our mining, and whenever you zoomed out it looked amazing because there was wee pockets of people all around orcas and stuff, so you could just see these orca boosts going off. But whenever you actually thought about them, every single pocket was a corporation, which I thought was amazing. Because you had our corporation in one pocket, then another corporation in another pocket, and another corporation in another pocket, and we were all just sitting mining. Everybody was just sitting talking in local chat, or even their fleet chats or the corporation chats, but everyone was talking, everyone was in a good mood because we were all making a lot of money, everyone was happy. And then someone appeared on D-Scan. There's a few 100,000 skill points in there to be had. Okay. It's 36 days away. Fuck me. 36 days. God damn. But yeah. Someone appeared on D-Scan. Or someone appeared randomly in local and then another, and then another, and then another, and then it turns out that it was a whole fucking fleet, and that was not part of us, right? That's not part of us, and it turned out to be the alliance that we were at war with. So most people, being in mining ships and orcas, we were like, especially the orcas, were like, get the out of system. The orcas are just too expensive to be lost for no reason. So everyone either left the system, and then us, we warped back to station. My mind was, everyone's away to get their gunships. We'll come back, we'll have a big fight. I'll lose my ship, but it'll be fun. We'll see a big fight, big PvP battle, and then we'll go back to mining when it's all said and done. That didn't exactly play out that way. And 2 hours later, there's still people in our system from the Warren Alliance who are guarding the exits. They are camping gates. Warp gates and jump gates are being camped. And I was like, listen, it's starting to get late anyway. I have to be up really early in the morning for work, so I'm just gonna go. Get up the next day to go to work. And on the way to work, I was just looking at my phone on Discord. There was nothing of note in Discord, no one saying anything like that. So I was like, right, okay, everything's sweet. Later on that night, come back on. Apologies. Come back on later on that night, and those ships are still there. Different ships this time because, different people, but, still people guarding gates and stuff. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, get these people out. And it quickly dawned on me that we weren't, the Alliance wasn't coming to help us. So then obviously I had questions. So I started, in Discord, where's the rest of the Alliance? Why are they not coming to help us? And they were like, we're in talks with them now. Talks? Just fucking get them down here and just help us. Don't talk, come down and help. And this was really my first, introduction to the fact that there's a lot of politics in EVE. A lot of politics. And I was like, I don't like this at all. So we're going to need to get something sorted out. And they were like, listen, we're in talks. And I was like, so what are we supposed to do in the time being? And they were like, just chill out. And I was like, just chill out. Yeah. He is trying to get his exhumers. We'll turn this on. But yeah, so I was like, how can we just chill out? We can't do anything. We're stuck in station, because if we were to leave station, they've got, gunships just waiting on us, just waiting. It's like, what are we supposed to do there? So over the next few days, there was a lot of talking done, which I wasn't privy to any of it. It was all the people above me, CEO, top few people in the corporation talking with the Alliance, and it got to the stage. Who the fuck is that? Ah, there he is. I'll invite him to fleet. And I was getting very fed up because we couldn't do anything. And then it came out that they were having a vote. By this stage I was in bed, and the vote was stay or leave. Which is it going to be? And I was like, what? I got up the next day, they'd already had their vote, but they were still waiting on mine, which, side note, that is fucking incredible. I am not, I'm not here long. I'm here 2 months maybe. At the very, very most, 2 months. And this is what happened. They were waiting on me, and they were like, here's the situation, what do you want to do? I hold a grudge. I was like, those fuckers left us out high and dry. We're leaving. And they were like, yep, we've all agreed to see him. We were given 2 weeks to pack everything up and move. So everything had to be, all stations had to be unanchored, everything had to be taken down and transported to Jeddah. I created contracts and sent them off. On my ships were then brought up to Jeddah, and going back to Jeddah from Nulsac, where you were seeing maybe 5-6 people in local, to 2,000, freaked me out. I did not like it. But over the next 2 weeks, everything was shipped out, and then we were getting our new home station with our new alliance, which pretty sure the alliance that we were with, their new alliance, was the one that we were warm with in our original alliance, which was fun. We got our new home system, we went there, we lasted a few weeks, and then another town hall was called. Basically what I didn't realise was we were getting the shit end of the stick. Still not entirely sure how, but we were getting the shit end of the stick. And I was like, right, okay. They were like, stay or leave. So the vote came that we left. This time we weren't going to another alliance, we were just going to a wormhole base, and it didn't work out, and it just got to the stage where a lot of people, through all the dramatics of corporations and alliances and the moving of everything, when you're moving every single thing that you own up to Jeddah from 54 jumps away, and you're having to contract it for a jump freighter to bring it up, there's a lot of waiting about for yourself. So a lot of people were like, I'm going to take a break while this is all going on, because I effectively can't do anything. So we took another break, and then about a month later we got the message through that our wormhole was ready for us. And I went to wormholes, it didn't work out. Get into another war with, it's not really a war, we get into a fight with another corporation who was looking to take over the wormhole. They had much more people than we did, so it just got to the stage where we just cut our losses. We lost a lot of stuff. I think it was around $1 billion in ships and ore, and this was back then whenever I had maybe 300 million in my wallet. So losing $1 billion in worth of ships and ore and fittings and stuff definitely stung. And other people need to fuck off and leave my ice block alone. Most people in the corporation had decided that they were done, whether that's forever or just for a certain amount of time, that I don't know. I'm still in the Discord with that corporation. I'm still in that corporation's Discord, and anytime that I'm on Discord and I see them talking, it's just about random stuff. It's not actually about Eve, and it's not about anything corporation related, so I think the majority of them have left. I love this corporation. This corporation, taught me so many things about this game that I still use to this day. This corporation taught me the ins and outs of mining, the ins and outs of ratting, the ins and outs of exploring, setting up my UI so that it's really, crisp. I got every bit of information. They set me up with what way I should do my skill points, and give me fittings that I still use to this day. It just, the corporation as a whole was amazing. I loved it, and I loved everyone in that corporation. And just before I left it, the guy that originally invited me into the corporation, he then went on to find another corporation who was exactly like ours, nullsack mining, basically do whatever you want, not an awful lot of requirements, blah blah blah, this, that and the other. And he's like, do you want to join? And I was like, do you know what, I think we're going to go the whole solo nomad for a while, because to be honest, I was fed up with the fact that there's so many politics in Eve whenever it comes to the big corporations, whenever it comes to the big alliances throughout Nullsac. There's just too much politics. And the thing is, the way that it works is, alliances are made up of corporations, and then those alliances have a few leaders, sometimes only even one. that one leader is going to favour his corporation over the rest of the corporations within the alliance. That's just a given. That's human nature to do that. I mean, I will sit here and I will tell you right now that if I was a leader of an alliance, I would favour my corporation, obviously. But that's, I just got to the stage where I just get sick of the whole, I have to abide by rules and regulations set aside, and I have to ask for permission to go to certain places, or I am not allowed to go to certain places because some leader of another corporation that I've never met before, never heard of before, says that I can't. I just got to the stage where I was like, why? Like, I wouldn't, in real life, I wouldn't, let someone rule over me like that. So why would I do that in a game that I am paying a subscription to? No. And that's whenever I was like, I'm not doing this. So my idea was, I would go back to HiSec, I would get it set up to the point where I don't really depend on anyone. And that's kind of where I'm at now. Obviously, if you watch my last video in the setup, you will see that I've got a ship for pretty much everything that I need to do, or pretty much everything that I already do in my daily life. So that is why I left my corporation, and that is why I am in no rush to join another corporation. I am not trying to put new players off of joining corporations. I'm not trying to put them off of, joining big alliances. It could suit them, but to me there's just way too much politics involved. There's just way too much, we are in charge here, this is what you will do. Like, no I won't. If I want to get in my Orca and go 6 systems over and mine ice if it's there, then I will. Or if I want to go and do some ratting in a system 15 systems away, I will. No one's going to tell me that I can't. And I just got to the stage where I was like, I'm done with this. I am finished with all the dramatics of the really passive aggressive fighting between corporations, the constant moving, the constant this, that and the other. I just got to the stage where I was like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm really not. And that is where I'm at now, in a system called Halima, which is 4 jumps from Jeddah. How do I get up the map? Where is the map actually? Oh my god, where's the map in this? This is how little I actually use the map. Map. Okay. So if I bring this up, you will see there's a system that I'm in. I will not block it out. I know a lot of people block it out. I will not, just because I have absolutely no reason to. Like, if you want to try and jump me in Majorca, go for it. Like, you're going to die. Like, so. Alright, so there's Jeddah, as you can see, 4 jumps away. I just can't actually find it on the map. So we'll go here, right, and then we go to Tonturas, and then we go to there we go, and then Jeddah is, if we get rid of this, there's Jeddah. Alright, so there's me there, there's Jeddah, 4 jumps away. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now, and currently with the setup right now, I'm completely happy with that. So that is the reason why I left my corporation. Politics, the fact that everyone was getting burnt out on the moving, and the fact that most people just got to the stage where they were like, I'm just flat out not playing no more. After that, I was like, right, it's time for me to go on my own to try this, and that's what I've done, and I've been enjoying it. Obviously, I've got my brother here with me, and my brother's playing it as well, so we sit in mine, and even whenever we're both working from home, we just sit and have a chat every now and again while doing mining and stuff. So I'm not really on my own, but I'm on my own. But hopefully that shines some light on it, and maybe it makes you think about corporations and alliances a little differently, because most corporations, and definitely all alliances, will not have your best interests at heart. So always put yourself first. That is going to do it for me. Until next time, cheers for watching.